people, and we must do it. If we don't control insiders, this will be over and over. To lead by an any big fat love, find common ground to halt the spread of lies, and we must do it. Big fat love, find common ground to halt the spread of lies, and any America first, America first, non-fatal. We want to build a much better, believable people, and we must do it non-fatal. Communication very much higher. America first. To lead by an any insiders fighting for insiders. Time to stop. Insiders fighting for insiders. More of insiders fighting for insiders. Time to stop. Insiders fighting for insiders. America first. Love the flow. 69. Now it's time for new, believable people, and we must do it. If we don't control insiders, this will be over and over. To lead by an any big fat love, find common ground to halt the spread of lies, and we must do it. Big fat love, find common ground to halt the spread of lies, and any America first, America first, non-fatal. We want to build a...
And did we finally figure out what percentage that was?
It's about like 69.
69% Jew. Wow. Okay, well, we're going to have to...
Hey, Lane, I just sent you a watch and react idea. I thought you'd like it. It's this crazy guy. He's all drugged up and tripping balls on the pier.
Okay,
and
I
then
have
he
a
falls
question.
off and fights a seal.
What's with the shirt?
The shirt? Nothing. I don't even think he's wearing a shirt. He's just some crazy guy all
Josh,
drugged up on the pier.
Your shirt.
Oh.
Your shirt, it looks like it's squeezing you like mother's milk.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a little tight, but I thought it looked good. It's kind of the style.
I mean,
right?
yeah, dog, it really outlines your muscles.
Yeah, man, you look like a superhero or something.
Superhero? Who, Captain Caramel? Incredible Bulk?
Hey,
You look like Wonder Bread Woman,
I like the shirt.
riding an invisible butter churner.
They said it looked good. What? It's good.
Yeah, but you don't need to wear that shirt. You can actually get a similar shirt that fits well. It looks good from True Classic. It's what I wear. Look, here. Put this on.
Whoa, thanks, Steven.
All right, Silver Surf and Turf. You look good. That's what I'm saying. True
Yeah,
Classic. We have a
this is
sketch to
nice.
tape.
You think? Yeah.
You probably order some rash guards from him.
Looking and feeling great shouldn't come with a designer price tag. Upgrade your wardrobe and save at trueclassic.com/Crowder.
Subject for today.
It's a more relaxed sip because it's Friday. Friday, which is a love letter, by the way, to, we just said it's a video love letter to OG Mug Club, Rumble Premium. You guys always get a Friday show, and I think we're wide for like a few minutes so you guys know what you're missing. It's a little more relaxed right off the top. Before I get to what we'll be discussing, I do need to apologize. It was brought to my attention that yesterday was Trans Day of Remembrance, but I forgot. Captain Morgan, CEO, how are you, sir?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Yeah.
It's the end of the week. It's nice.
We're going to be talking about the Washington Post versus the Coast Guard. You know that now they're saying that it's okay to have swastikas and nooses.
Oh, on the uniform, huh?
Yeah, that's what they're saying, pretty much. Yeah, they want to put it right on the helmet. Yeah, that's not true. Yeah, we're also going to talk about hanging people for sedition. You know, Donald Trump. That's what's everywhere right now. He said George Washington would have. Here's the fun fact. George Washington would have.
Yes.
Yeah.
George Washington did.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Yes.
That's why it was a fight. Like all presidents since George Washington are war criminals. It's like, have you read about George Washington?
My teeth hurt. I want to die.
So you know what? Hey, I'm an extremist. Let me ask you, what should be done to seditious senators? You comment below. And we always take your chats. Weekdays, even Friday, 11 a.m. And then, I don't know if you know this, there's so many illegals in Charlotte who should get the hell out. We're going to talk about that. Saturday, December 20th at Springfield Comedy Club, Springfield, Missouri, Mr. Josh Firestine.
That's right. Don't forget it. And don't forget Trans Remembrance Day.
Yeah, well.
Don't forget to remember them.
It's a little late.
Because they need it.
Yeah. And it's
They're out there putting their lives on the line every day for you.
that's right.
and for me.
That's one person was saying it. They were treating them like war heroes.
Yeah, Gavin Newsom.
kidding.
He
Yeah.
tweeted about it. He said, "Today I'd like to remember and mourn all of our transgender comrades." He didn't say comrades, but it was pretty damn close.
Yeah, like they were raiding the beaches of Normandy. Just
Yeah,
those
like-
truck doors off.
Oh, my balls!
Yes.
They're self-inflicted wounds.
I'll ruin my outfit.
Who needs surgery when you have Omaha Beach?
Yeah, exactly. Well, Canadians, we had Juno Beach. And
You
I
guys
learned
had the
about
easy ones.
Yeah, yeah. Because there is footage.
Luck
from
of the
some those
draw?
things. And then Juno Beach, you Canadians, let me know if they have footage of Juno Beach. The doors going. I remember watching Saving Private Ryan. Been learning about Juno Beach in Canadian public schools, and the door goes. I'm like, oh no, I can't watch this. And they just all jog into the mist, completely out of frame. I'm like, oh, they
That was easy.
They made it far.
Wow.
Yeah, some might argue that they worked smarter, not harder.
Yeah,
It's true.
That's exactly right. Like, damn these Canadians, they know how to be efficient.
They went around the gun.
Also, we weren't guarding that beach because we knew it was the Canadians. Let's get to hey, this.
Pissed a bunch of people off.
Remember this broad, Kat Boogamoo? Mm-hmm. She's laid off from Media Matters, and she's a congressional candidate. We talked about her before. We've shown you her mug, and now she has a new plan and new tools to stop ICE in Chicago with the ultimate weapon.
If you want to defend your community from ICE, one of the best things you can do right now is get a whistle. A whistle is a simple, fast tool that can alert your community when ICE is in the area.
Pause.
It can allow people to get together.
I love how she has to describe and explain a whistle.
Yes, it's true.
A whistle is a simple device. Like we know, Jabugamo. Keep going.
To fight back. You can have it on you anytime, anywhere, and turn silence into community action. So how does this work? Well, you have your whistle on you, and you see ICE around, blow 3 short bursts.
How do I do that?
Like this.
Yeah.
With your ass?
Oh, thank you.
If ICE is actively detaining someone, blow 3 long bursts. It's an instant alert system. It's affordable, and anyone can do it. It's hyper local.
I think that was false start.
Yet, you can come to our campaign
I thought it was a loon.
That
was offensive pass interference.
To get one. And if you have a 3D printer, you can actually 3D print your own. One of our volunteers, Josh, has printed hundreds of these whistles for us.
Of these-
Not me.
Given them to
Whistles,
businesses
you
and different
say?
people in the community, and it's a fantastic way to use your skills for the public. So make sure to wear your whistle, know the protocol,
Is that the Elephant
and tell
Man?
your family and friends to do the same. I also want to shout out Protect RP, which has been instrumental in the Rogers Park fight against ICE. They've exponentially increased awareness of this whistle system. They have been doing community patrols in the area, and they have had people signing up for school watches to protect children in the neighborhood. So if you're in the area, make sure to follow Protect RP on Facebook and Instagram. And once again, if you don't have a whistle, come pick one up at 7016 North Clark Street.
I would, but I forgot how to use it.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to whistle at kids.
No, I don't think you're supposed to. I think there's a rule against
I think,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
There should be. If not, there should be.
Yeah. You should only use a whistle if you're starting a race or you're in the Hunger Games.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Where she very well may find herself. Unfortunately, by the way, and this is just sort of the nature of unintended consequences. The whistles have had unintended consequences on the local wildlife.
Ice! Ice on the block!
Oh,
You hate to see that happen.
that's
to
a thing.
I mean,
It's like the old monkey paw.
Yeah, nobody. Is it? Yeah, it's the monkey paw. How's it a monkey paw?
It's just, I wish that my whistle was very effective, and the monkey paw is like, you're going to get attacked by wolves.
Someone should tell those wolves you can't attack the referee.
No, you can't.
That's right. Don't blame the ref.
Yeah, this isn't the WNBA.
I didn't see any dildos flying.
No, that chick got dunked on for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, hey, anyone out there, Mug Clubbers, Rumble Premium members in Chicagoland, please send us as many of these whistles as you possibly can, and we're going to try and build like a whistle pyramid.
It's true.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna,
Do they call themselves whistle warriors?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I did. No, it's 3 short bursts, not 2, Carl.
Whistle warriors, come out your gate.
Hey there, cool cats. Whistle warriors are just spotted down on 6th Avenue.
Yeah.
You think this is going to interfere with rape whistles?
No.
Well, it'll interfere with the rape.
Somebody's going to be getting raped, and they're like, and everyone's gonna go, shit, scatter!
Yeah.
Get away, everybody run!
Oh no.
It is confusing.
It's going to sound like West Side Story. Was that a jet or a shark? What's going on here? Someone's going to be doing a muscle up on a pipe. All right. You know how people sometimes they did, and by the way, it is a skill. It actually is it's a fitness, pole dancing is a fitness class. So I'm not denigrating those people, but the people who do it professionally, probably have a talk with your dad. We don't do that here, but we do actually, we put bills in your drawers. It's time for reverse super chat. Yes, and today is the good folks at, I have a box here. Did that happen because you were whistling?
Yeah, whistles. I'm allergic to ice. Just brought a sneeze upon me, and now my hand is full of mucus.
Maybe I did the stinger, man.
Yeah, I should. Yeah,
Sorry, I ruined your.
Okay, hold on.
party.
If you are not a Rumble Premium member, too, by the way, you can click there and you can stay with us for the entire day on Friday. So click that button, Rumble Premium, and it's $9.99 a month. You don't get the hand etched mug, but if you want to join the club, $99 a year, and you get everything ad free plus 100% more show. Hit the stinger again because it's reverse super chat. Pure Talk, this time I have it ready, sent you 50 free Rumble Premium subscriptions. They were just gifted in the chat. You cannot, by the way, it is a big deal, 100% United States customer service team. So if I have problems, I can actually call them.
Speak to an American.
Some phone service went out this last week when power was going out, and I got someone on the phone. Didn't my phone. I called them from another place, and they're like, yeah, it's going to be back up.
Nice.
As opposed to I am Josh from Tacoma. So you can save 50% off your first month, puretalk.com/Crowder. Let me know on X or Instagram if you just got one of the free Rumble Premium subscriptions, and we look forward to seeing you in the chat. This has been us reversing the bills in your draws super chat. All right. And by the way, today, if you're I just got out of the shower. I was running late, and so
Looks a little different.
Yeah, I look like a greaser.
I don't think you do.
Hey, Sandy, right?
Close.
All right.
Not quite as good.
Washington Post.
Let's see you dance.
No, I'm not going to dance.
Come on.
That'll be a good chance to show off my True Classic threads in the. We'll do that later. That's only for the premium members.
That's a shirt?
Yeah.
It is a shirt.
It is. It is a shirt. Yeah.
Indeed.
Don't call it a top, or I know you're gay. If a man calls a shirt, if a man calls a shirt a top, he's gay, right? Or if you have a very attractive waitress, at a diner, and you say, hey, she's good looking, and the guy you're with goes yeah, she has really cute shoes, he's gay.
Yeah.
Or if he's saying, pop that top off.
Well, I don't know. That would
Nice.
be a heteronormative thing.
I know. If I'm if I tell my boys, I say, hey, bro, pop that top off.
But to a guy.
Yeah.
And then if I say, hey,
straight.
this waitress has really cute shoes, it means both of us. We're probably an item. We're going steady. All right. This is
You're
run its
back to
course.
greaser. Yeah.
Washington. No, I was the one who let that go on. Washington Post. So they're trying to tell you, and again, all references available, link in the description. We do that with all of these segments. I highly recommend you go peruse these. Do not take my word for it. The Washington Post wants you to know now that the Coast Guard is okay with Nazi symbols. Yeah. They're totally cool with it now.
Are
they? Yeah, well, here, let's get to claim truth. Let me give you the claim. There you go, Mario sound. This is from Washington Post. And the reason this matters is because they are trying to convince a generation of people of lies. And look, if you believe that people who are politically opposed to you, members of the other party, or just people of different ideological persuasions, if you believe that all of them are Nazis, all of them are fascists, well, that, of course, eventually justifies how you would deal with real Nazis or fascists. The only way would be violently. And the left knows this. And so now they're trying to denigrate members of our Coast Guard as, these people are they're cool with swastikas and nooses. Mm-hmm. Think about that. That's pretty clear. It's not a read between the lines. So
isn't a noose, isn't that how the Coast Guard rescues people?
With ropes and
They send a noose down.
They do.
And then you grab it, and then you...
Well, I don't think they'll be doing that anymore. I think they're just gonna choppers are like, it sucks to be you. Sorry.
I can't send the hate symbol down to you anymore.
We'll send Celine Dion with a kayak like Katrina. By the way, it's a one-seater. She's a dumb bitch. Do you remember that? She went in a kayak?
No.
She said she was going to. All right, let me hit claim again. Sorry, it's
they're talking about it right now.
Claim. Okay. The Coast Guard is now downgrading swastikas and nooses, and they're downgrading them no longer as hate symbols, is what Washington Post decided to write an entire article about. They wrote, the U.S. Coast Guard will no longer classify swastikas or nooses as hate symbols. The new policy that classifies such items classifies them as potentially divisive. Which, by the way, doesn't seem like a flattering term.
No.
It just seems like semantics. So here's the truth. Washington Post is just playing semantics with words. The symbols were, and they will continue to be, prohibited under President Trump.
Well.
Yeah. So they tried to claim that the Coast Guard reversed course, but that's actually not true. The Coast Guard clarified and said, well, divisive or hate symbols and flags are prohibited. So if you want to call it a hate symbol, if you want to call it divisive, either way, it was prohibited and it's still prohibited. You can't have a swastika anywhere near your official uniform outfit. It's a nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing here.
You never could have had it. And the noose they included noose, which I think is odd. The swastika, that's clear. That's clearly a symbol of a fascist movement. Okay,
Right.
got it.
Yep.
But a noose doesn't necessarily, it doesn't mean it was a racial thing.
Right. That's exactly right.
They've been
justice
hanging
thing.
people for centuries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since they figured out how to tie a knot.
Yeah.
It's true.
Hanging people of all races. If anything, it's a great uniter.
It really is.
Because everyone at one point or another has been hung in this country. And here's the thing. The reason why this is important, the reason why they're probably downgrading it, it was clarified by Pete Hegseth as divisive, is just because of the litigious nature. Do you remember Bubba Watson? Remember that? Everyone made a huge deal. It had to be an internal
garage pull?
investigation. It was the garage pull.
Yeah, they sent like 10 FBI agents or
Right.
whatever.
This is the NASCAR driver guy?
Yes.
They had okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and he said it was a noose and it was a hate
noose,
symbol.
but it was really just a tie down?
Yeah, it was just a garage pull. That's all it was. And so you have people in the military, there have been so many complaints that have been going on, and it costs you, the taxpayer, a ton of money. They don't want this to be an international investigation. So here's Pete Hegseth being clear in what is actually going on as the leader of the Department of War.
We are overhauling an inspector general process, the IG, that has been weaponized, putting complainers, ideologues, and poor performers in the driver's seat. No more frivolous complaints, no more anonymous complaints, no more repeat complainants, no more smearing reputations, no more endless waiting, no more legal limbo, no more sidetracking careers, no more walking on eggshells.
Exactly.
Of course, being a racist has been illegal in our formation since 1948. The same goes for sexual harassment. Both are wrong and illegal. Those kinds of infractions will be ruthlessly enforced.
Yeah, now watch. The left will go, oh, well, here's an example of sexual harassment. No one's saying that it doesn't happen ever. They're saying that it's against policy. It's still forbidden. Yes. It is still a ban-worthy offense. You're out. So the left is going to try and point out that, yeah, but things aren't perfect, which they always do as they fix zero problems themselves. And again, check the references. There's good reason for this. These changes are meant to stop wasting resources on things like these fake hate crimes. You can bring them up from Collage B5. You guys remember one that was notable that you'll remember, but this goes on all the time behind the scenes, was 2019. Remember when they investigated sailors for hate crimes because they were playing the circle game?
That's at the Army-Navy game, too, by the way.
Yeah. They were playing the circle game, right? Now, remember the circle game when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Comment, anyone who remembers that. Well, what they were saying was if you turn this upside down, which, by the way, has historically meant A-OK, perfect, that was a hate symbol because it was used to support Donald Trump. Ergo, people who support Donald Trump are obviously Nazis. They classified this as a hate symbol. Of course, some people believed it. I guess they forgot to tell Kevin McAllister, because this is very commonly been for a long time.
What?
This is how silly the wordplay and the shifting definitions are from the left. Although I will grant, upon review of the original Home Alone, some of it was borderline. You know what? Marv and Harry were the good guys.
How do you set a timer on a burning cross? I mean,
They're just trying to kill this racist kid.
By the way, that is an older sketch that I try and bring back every Christmas. It's one of my all-time favorites.
So get ready for it next month.
Yes, absolutely. And get ready to download the Rumble app, guys. Download the Rumble app. Follow me there. If you guys are still watching on YouTube or anywhere, the best place to not miss out on any content is just follow me on Rumble. You'll know when we're live. It's weekdays, 11 a.m. And then sometimes we do special streams or special uploads. Back to, let's go with the budget here. This is important. So the Department of War Inspector General, the annual budget is around $550 million, give or take. 37 million of which alone is for these types of investigations. Think about that. Your tax dollars. When people talk about the military-industrial complex, I don't often hear them talk about tens of millions of dollars wasted on investigating sailors for the circle game, or someone saying they saw a noose, or someone saying that someone catcalled them. The military is not the place for this. I would be willing to bet it's not the place that the soldiers would want this type of environment to be, and the left simply wants to tar and feather anyone who disagrees with them. They know that right now, hey, most of them, record recruitment? Probably because the patriots who used to join the military are back to joining the military again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they don't have to walk around on eggshells. I think what Hex has said was people need to probably understand that there's been a lot of lives ruined over this.
Right.
Over stupid stuff like this. For some reason, we all lost our brains for several years. And these guys' careers were ruined because of a circle game or something similar. And he's like, look, no more of that.
He's talking about guys that are commanders or, longtime NCOs, non-commissioned officers that have been in the service for 15, 20 years. And they grew up in the service when you could talk a certain way, you could be a certain way. And then all of a sudden, well, hey, you can't make that joke. You can't joke about old Private sinks to the bottom for not being able to swim because he's black. So you can't you can't make fun of him because he can't swim. And it's like, well, it wasn't because he was black. It's because look at him.
Yeah,
he's at the bottom of the river.
Also, he moonlights as an MC as DJ sinks to the bottom.
Yeah.
Well, he gave himself the name.
Yeah, he puts on these big anchor ears and
let the beat and my body drop.
Let the bodies hit the floor. All right. They call it the floor of the ocean?
Yes. The ocean floor.
Yeah, the ocean floor.
The ocean floor. Okay. That's Friday.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. That's good. Hey, let's continue with this. We're not going wide anymore, are we?
Oh, thank God.
People are going to be lining up for those debate invitations now.
Yes. Here's what you're missing.
This is a big story here right now. And I do my news briefings in the morning where I have it set so I listen to NPR and Fox News and then ABC and CNN. They have all these sort of podcast installments. So it's just one of the first sort of forms of news that I digest in the morning. And everyone was talking about this as though Donald Trump had made a major call to arms to execute political opposition. That's not really what happened. So several Democrat senators and Congress representatives implored soldiers and intel officers to effectively betray the military under Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
Pause.
With that,
look, I know that people in the military are always under stress and pressure because it's a job that comes with potentially catching a bullet, right? Dying for your country. But they're implying more stress right now?
Yeah, are they? They're under this much stress as they get record recruitment?
Yeah.
Decades?
Right. Record recruitment.
People are just lining up for the stress?
Right. Yeah.
It's not enough stress in my life. I want to go be in the military.
Yeah, and historically relatively few in active combat. So again, they start off with a false premise, but let's continue.
trust is at risk. This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens.
No, you are.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
the Army,
or Navy,
the Air Force,
your vigilance is critical.
And know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
the American people need you. We need you to stand up for our laws,
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
Moving.
Is that
They'll
coming from a
say-
CIA?
Yeah. Well, what they'll say is, well, we said unlawful. We said unlawful orders. Okay? And here's what they do, right? Same thing as going fascist. There's a strain of fascism in the country. You're seeing tyranny. You're seeing totalitarianism. You're seeing a rise of Nazism. And then they say, well, I didn't say who. Right? This is the problem with the I'm just asking questions approach.
Right.
If people, it's fine to ask questions, but if you only ask questions and you never have answers, and that's also why I have that 5-point litmus test, which we'll probably make available to you as you go through Thanksgiving. I would love to sit down with these people and ask them quite simply. That's why I don't have a lot of respect for people who won't defend their viewpoints. Oh, so unlawful orders, like what? Well, I'm just saying there could be unlawful. Have there been any? Have there been any that you have said are unlawful? Have you implied that any orders are unconstitutional from this administration to the military? Are there any types of policies or actions that you have repeatedly, ad nauseum, said are unconstitutional or unlawful? Are those the types of orders?
It is illegal, in fact, to call out the National Guard or to send troops into American cities.
It is completely un-American and needlessly provocative for Donald Trump to deploy National Guard and Marines to Southern California.
And I think I speak for all Americans. We don't believe it's legal to use the American military against American citizens.
Not legal,
on American
unlawful are
soil.
synonyms.
I think that's a fairly widely held fact.
Let's be clear. Using the National Guard this way is illegal. It is unlawful. It cannot be done consistent with our law and Constitution.
Oh.
You cannot use it in the means in which the Trump administration is continuing to use it.
The deployment of federal troops without authorization is unconstitutional. Masked, unidentified ICE agents snatching people off the streets is unconstitutional, period.
There are legitimate concerns that this president is going to issue and has issued unlawful orders to American troops who are operating on American soil.
Is that clear enough? Check the references. And this is my problem with people throwing out accusations separately so that they can act as though it's disconnected. They can go on for months and months and months with the major story in the news and go unlawful, illegal. These orders are unlawful, unconstitutional, illegal. And then separately go, by the way, if you are in the military, you need to refuse any unlawful orders. It's your duty. But they say, well, hold on, we said this was unlawful. But we didn't say the two together.
Right.
And then they make it about the response. The response would be far more appropriate if these people were honest. If they said, yeah, by the way, sending in troops, using the National Guard, whether it's Chicago, Washington, D.C., or using ICE, that's unconstitutional. And by the way, those of you who are asked to carry them out, don't do them. Refuse to do them because they're unconstitutional, unlawful. If they said that, then Donald Trump's response would seem entirely appropriate. As a matter of fact, necessary.
Necessary, absolutely.
Yeah, and we know that's what they're saying.
Yeah, that is what they're saying. They're trying to be sneaky about it, like we're dumb, or like the troops are dumb.
Right.
But they're not. They understand what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, too.
And here's the thing, too, is that we understand what they're doing. It's a form of propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's a form of propaganda. And they say you don't have to, you can refuse, you have to refuse an illegal order. I saw today, somebody was saying it is responsibility of a service member to refuse illegal orders. So what does that mean? So if they don't refuse an illegal order, now they're subject to punishment under the Uniform Code of Military Justice? Right. Is that what you're saying? They're going to get punished for not refusing orders?
You want every single private making that judgment call?
Exactly. Every single private. If you've served in the military, you know there are some that'll stick your fingers in your mashed potatoes and go, are you done eating that? Because I'm retarded.
Yeah, that sounds specific.
There's a few of us. There's a few of us that are mentally handicapped, and you're asking them to make a decision that the Supreme Court, the ultimate arbiter in our country, comes to a 5-4 decision on?
Yeah, exactly. It's like we have, like we've discussed, the chain of command is very important in any unit, any company.
Yeah.
And we then have a cross-reference. We then have checks and balances on the chain of command if it's challenged. Like, this is constitutional. In this case, it's quite clear, but that doesn't stop the left from saying that it's not and saying it's your duty. How do you think the military, Josh makes a really good point, could operate, right, in the fog of war? And so in response, which is what the news is covering, Trump posted this across Truth, several posts. He wrote, "This is really, really bad and dangerous to our country." Their words, cannot be allowed to stand. They can't. Seditious behavior from traitors. Lock them up? 3 question marks. I don't know. I'm asking you, but then I'll post another saying it's called seditious behavior at the highest level. Frankly, each one of these traitors for our country should be arrested and put on trial. Seditious behavior, punishable by death. He also retruthed this. Hang them, George Washington would. Now, that's a retruth, to be clear.
Yes.
Also, just to be clear, there could be some confusion because word is that Elisa Slotkin is already quite hung. But is there precedent? So we already have the left saying, hey, this is unconstitutional, it's unlawful, it's illegal, it's your duty to refuse unlawful orders. And now they want to act like this kind of rhetoric. Sedition?
Yeah, but arrest them and put them on trial.
Arrest them, put them on trial. This kind of rhetoric, because again, the George Washington would hang them. And by the way, fact check true, he did.
He made his troops watch.
Yeah, he did.
He brought his brigade and made his troops watch.
Made an example of them. But people like to think, oh, no, he just was smoking hemp out on his golden years. Well, he did that too, but it's not the only thing he did. 2 things can be true. Let's put them on trial, right, for sedition. Do we have any examples of the left accusing the opposing political side of sedition, of treason? Is this unprecedented? I think with a montage.
History must record that this Congress made it clear that no president can incite his followers into insurrection.
We indicated that the Justice Department, with the evidence it has, which may be additional to what we have gathered, should consider seditious conspiracy.
We as a nation can no longer look away. The president,
thank you, Scorpion,
not only incited
Get over
an
here.
insurrection against our government, but has in word and deed led a rebellion.
Remarkable case about the sedition of a president of the United States, the first seditious president in our history.
Seditious conspiracy against the United States government.
And because the president of the United States incited this, because he was orchestrating this, because he was inviting them, the insurgents were not shy about their plan.
Let's talk about the fact that President Trump incited an erection.
That too.
It'd be the first time you'd be around one, huh? By the way, they're talking about this right now, live on CNN. And look, they have a guy in a cowboy hat, so he's probably just like you.
Oh.
So should they have made the ad? No. When you look at it, what they're doing is they're advocating troops not
say
obey
unlawful.
orders of the President of the United States.
There you go.
Unlawful orders. But they also said this president is unconstitutional. Show me where the president is unconstitutional. Show me where execution of a lawful order is unconstitutional. That's a definition of sedition. Now, both sides, and this is a larger view, we need as Americans to stop.
Okay.
We need to get the anger.
Yeah, done with you.
Oh,
this
we
is
need
the
to
thing.
get the anger
and
out.
this is also why I would say, a lot of these people, they won't show up, even with prize money. That guy needs to keep her face on it.
Yes.
He goes, they accused Donald Trump. No, they have been accusing Donald Trump throughout his entire first term. And they've impeached him, by the way, for this. And they have been continuing this rhetoric nonstop with each policy. Pretty much every major policy that has been executed that involves the military, they have said, is unconstitutional, is unlawful. So they have been saying that nonsense. That is the only thing that people have heard from these representatives on the left regarding Donald Trump's use of the military. All of it is unlawful. All of it is unconstitutional. And then they say it is your duty.
Right.
Unlawful order. So have you asked them? Have you asked the people who said it was unlawful, unconstitutional, if they still believe that? Or did they recant? Because if they haven't, then it is by definition sedition. It is by definition treason. Not some guy in face paint who was invited in on a walking tour to the Capitol.
And what?
He also wasn't a service member.
Right.
The people at January 6th weren't service members.
Right.
They weren't armed forces.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't encourage a coup.
They weren't even armed.
Josh, very quickly, what happens if you refuse to follow an order?
Well, I mean,
there are a lot of depth, right? But you get in trouble. Serious trouble.
That depends on if it's lawful or unlawful.
No. Well, let's say that it's lawful.
I had a guy refuse to follow me in a cave.
Really?
Yeah, they sent him home the next day.
There you go.
Court-martialed.
Okay. So court-martialed the next day for that. Let's go even further. Let's say it's an even more serious situation in a time of war. All these things, like the penalties can go up. Are the Democrats really in a position right now where they can come out and just say this is unconstitutional what he's doing for political purposes? Are they going to have the back of the service member that then takes their word for it and doesn't follow an order and ends up getting at the very best just dishonorably discharged and have their life potentially ruined? Are you going to have their backs as well?
Who are you talking about? Are you talking
gambit?
Are you talking about the military officers, not enlisted, the officers and the CIA operatives? I don't think they're going to have anyone's back.
No, I don't. Yeah.
I don't think they're going to have anyone's back.
That's my point. Listen, this is Democrats hanging service men and women out to dry because for political points, we said this was unconstitutional. Then we told you not to follow illegal orders, and you took our word for it.
Kind of like
joke's on you, I guess.
Kind of like saying that our wars were unconstitutional, so they voted to not send them body armor, that kind of thing.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, stuff like that. And then they say we support our troops more than anybody. Have you met Code Pink? Crazy bitches.
Won't it weed out all the woke officers and woke people who do refuse to follow orders? Because I think people who are signing up now are going to stick with it and follow.
Yeah,
orders.
I don't think that's happening though.
Yeah.
I don't think people are even refusing orders.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah.
Right. No, I think
I think even the people that are very woke or very leftist in the higher ranks of the military, even if they do take that side of this issue, they're not going to speak about it.
Right.
Which is smart to do because you have different rights as a service member.
Right.
You're not allowed to say certain things. You're not allowed to do certain things.
Right.
Especially if you're in uniform. So you have to no matter who the president is, if you don't like you're not allowed to go out in uniform in public and be like, I hate President Trump. I hate President Obama. That is a crime, regardless of your political.
When I was in I did some shows in Guantanamo Bay, and while I was there, I filmed a documentary. Now we were able to see some things that were like, you can't show this on camera. But even then, when they would talk with us off camera, they go, yeah, well, this has actually changed under this administration, and this is a new problem that we have to face, and these are the new difficulties. They would say, I can't say that on camera. And I'm not even saying I don't like Barack Obama. He's neutered our military. People saying there are a lot of complications now and red tape. They were like, I can't be seen saying that on camera because they feared getting in trouble for that. The left wants them, and I completely respected it. The left wants them to step out. And just to be clear, if you're one of these people, this is what they do. They use you as a sacrificial lamb. If someone does step out and refuses orders and says, hey, that's because it was unlawful, they might give you some heat. They might put you in a story in the headlines for about a week, and they will forget about you.
Yep.
And your life is ruined. That's what they do. It's what they do. And Representative Jason Crow, who was in that video, by the way, doubled down, but just sort of changed it a bit, probably because he talked with his lawyers.
This morning, President Donald Trump threatened to have me arrested and executed simply for reminding our service members of their oaths to follow the Constitution and to defend the rule of law.
Yeah, that's all you did.
It's very telling that President Trump and those around him think it's criminal simply for asking people to follow the law. This moment requires moral clarity. Every American, regardless of your background, should unite and reject his calls for political violence. This is a moment that requires leadership. I intend to uphold my obligation, my oath, and to lead. Don't give up the ship.
So it switched from don't follow orders to reject political violence.
And while wearing a drafting shirt?
Yeah. Also, by the way, they've said that it's political violence for ICE to go into sanctuary cities and deport people. So
actually do their jobs.
Yes. Yeah. This is what they do. Yeah. And then they blame you. It really is masterful gaslighting.
I love the part where he says moral clarity.
Yeah.
Moral clarity. Thank you for giving me the compass.
Right. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for guiding me into what is moral and what is not moral.
We're going to take we're going to make sure that we understand the rules on moral clarity from the party that raided Melania Trump's panty drawers.
Yeah.
But left classified documents next to Joe Biden's Corvair. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
They're playing with people's lives. And by the way, of course, the penalty for seditious conspiracy is at least to fine up to 20 years in prison. Some cases, it was execution for a very long time historically if you committed treason in this country. So that's what the left has accused the right of doing, and now they claim to be victims. Pop quiz. Who decides what is an unconstitutional order or not? Who decides what is a lawful order in a time of war? First up is, obviously, Commander-in-Chief, and then it can be challenged, and the Supreme Court will rule. But that's because you can't govern just by committee when you have to make snap decisions. I know that everyone thinks every single strike, every single military action needs to go through Congress. That's not true. He is the commander-in-chief. That's a military term for a reason. And then, of course, if someone oversteps their bounds, goes to the Supreme Court. But in this case, we already know. The left disregards all of that while accusing you of losing trust in your institutions. And notice that they never support the troops on the ground. They support those in the military or those in the intel community at desks. Right? That's what we see a lot. I mean, even look, we're still doing something. We were supposed to have her on as a guest probably next week. Crooks. Right? They talked about it on Tucker's show. I believe is it Miranda Devine is her name?
Yep.
Where we were told, and I would love to ask Cash Patel these questions. We were told this guy had no digital footprint. Turns out he may have.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. Actually, the best tweet or best X post on this was Jeremy from the Quartering, who said, well, we now actually have an official connection between Crooks and who was the Crooks and the assassin of Charlie Kirk, furries. And it's actually true. It's actually accurate.
And you sat down with one.
Yes, I did.
Took your life in your own hands. Really quickly, just because he always looks for an opportunity to sound like a tough guy. And
Kinzinger?
Normally, see, it's there are other people in this category than Kinzinger. He's got to compete for the top spot. Chris Murphy basically went out and said that we are now having the sitting president of the United States calling for the murder or calling for the death of his political opponents. And
capital punishment isn't murder.
He had a
good point.
He had quite the one-liner on this.
Let me see.
The President of the United States just called for members of Congress to be executed.
Executed, that's the right.
If you are a person of influence in this country,
Hold on a second. This is real?
maybe it's time to pick a fucking side.
That's not AI?
His response to this.
That's not AI?
Not AI.
I didn't know that a real man could look like such a bitch.
He does.
Whoa, he said fuck.
Yeah,
he's
said,
pretty tough.
So
You better watch it, or he's going to come kick your fucking ass.
I wasn't scared until then.
I'm scared as fuck.
Now I'm
Let me read it again. It's called seditious behavior at the highest level. Each one of these traitors to our country should be arrested and put on trial.
Whoops.
Seditious behavior punishable by death is what he wrote.
If found guilty.
Arrested and put on trial, and it's punishable by death. I can't tell you how many times I heard about that regarding treason in January 6th, where people were invited on a walking tour. He did not call for the execution at all. You called for people in the military, people who aren't as privileged as you, who may catch a bullet for their country at some point, to do something illegal, to do something for which they would have to pay the consequences, and you would move on to a new talking point.
What does he mean by that, by the way?
Thank you.
When he says pick a fucking side, what does he mean by that? Civil war?
Yeah.
Or what? What is the sides? What are we talking about sides?
Right.
I'm an American citizen. Look, I know I'm on a conservative show every day, but I don't identify left or right. All right? I lean more to the right for sure. That's obvious. But pick a side. What do you mean pick a side?
Yeah.
It's not a game, dude. I'm a person.
Yeah.
I know.
What do I have to do with any of this shit except unless you're asking me to pick up arms with you and pick a side?
Well, what should your response be, Josh, if the President of the United States is actively calling to execute members of Congress that oppose him?
And I pick a side?
What is the natural response that people should have to something like that happening in the United States of America? To get really mad and go out and do a No Kings protest?
I'm looking up the definition of insurrection.
Yeah. I mean, while they're chopping heads off on the White House lawn,
right?
Am I supposed to hold a picket sign that says I don't support this, Chris Murphy? What are you calling people to do?
Let me ask this: how do you deal with fascist dictators? You can't vote them out.
Well, you got to picket them.
Yeah, no, you can't picket them out.
That's what I'm saying.
Code Pink isn't enough, right? Let's just be really, really reductive.
Hitler just called for the execution of Jews. It's time to pick a side.
They protested.
Good point.
How did that work out?
Yeah, exactly. Pick a side. This man wants to kill people. You need to pick a side. Well, if you think he's killing, then you're going to do some killing. Only Donald Trump is not doing any killing. Let's be really clear about that. They know exactly what they're doing on the left. And it's not exclusive to the left, but of course they are the originators. Let's go on to the next one. While we're talking about this, hey, they want everything to be murky, where you don't know what is legal, what is lawful, what is constitutional versus what is not. To the point where they have made it seem as though illegal aliens are not illegal aliens. To the point that they have made it seem like illegal aliens are entitled to the same constitutional rights as American citizens if they are found to be illegal aliens. To the point that they have tried to claim that illegal aliens cannot constitutionally be deported. See what they do? it's in the name, illegal aliens. That's the legal term, to be clear, and that's why they don't use it. They don't use the actual legal term, illegal aliens, so they can make it seem like the execution of the law is in fact illegal. So, what city do you think would have this right now most pervasively? El Paso, San Diego, Miami, right? You expect to find illegal aliens there, and ICE's work has made daily life easier for the average citizen in many of these cities, but there's another one that you may not be thinking about.
Illegals are all gone from Carolina. You can get to work on time, check out at the store without a line. We've got to put ICE on overtime to make these changes countrywide. They're all gone from Carolina, it's about time.
Did you guess Carolina? And even then, I bet you're probably thinking, South?
No.
No, it's Charlotte. Charlotte, North Carolina is now the hotbed with some numbers that may surprise you.
Tonight, chaotic scenes like this playing out across Charlotte. This surveillance video capturing people fleeing a laundromat as federal agents arrive. A man texted his family this video shot inside a Border Patrol van to let them know he'd been detained.
They got to keep
Another
their phone.
man wrestled to the ground inside a fast food restaurant under construction.
Looks like AI.
Border Patrol
Yes,
says
it
it has arrested more than 250 people 5 days into its immigration crackdown here.
Can you stay 5 more?
Breaking the window. He's got an assault rifle pointed at her.
That's
It's unclear how many of those people have criminal records.
That's what the little thing on the handle, they'll try to warn you that. I tell you, all difference with
In Charlotte, Border Patrol forced these 2 people out of their car and restrained them. DHS says they are U.S. citizens that interfered with the agents' work.
Yes.
I hope you all kill yourself.
They won't.
This woman, a legal permanent resident, said she was questioned by Border Patrol and asked for her papers at the bank.
Oh, you need a translator.
I
wonder for
why.
the interview.
And they are not doing that. They are after good people. My legs were shaking and I had documents. She
You're
tells
fine.
them.
Yeah, you had documents, you just couldn't describe them.
It was a traumatic experience.
and let me just tell you something before we get onto some other points. Look, as far as I'm concerned, if you don't speak the language of this country, get out. Okay? That's what we do first. Just get out. All right? There's no doubt about it. There you go. Now,
at the least, you're suspicious.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, it would be at the top of my list. Like, who should I look for if I'm going to, like, what are the telltale signs of not being an American? Oh, not speaking our language is one.
How long you been here?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You remember like old Cheech and Chong movies or old movies from like the 80s and stuff?
Yeah.
When people, it involved immigration.
I was born in East LA.
Yeah, you'd see like the Mexican guys in the car, like, okay, yes, I am an American citizen.
Right.
Like, at least they learned,
Training.
like, how do I look not suspicious? Oh, speak the language.
Oh, you don't speak the language?
Yeah.
Oh,
Act like I live here.
And then you saw your papers. They saw your papers, and you were fine. So according to ICE, check the references, link in the description. Its 5-day operation resulted in 370 arrests. And to answer what they said, we have no idea in the media, at least 44 with extensive, violent criminal records.
I think the operation's name was called Charlotte's Web, by the way.
Very nice.
I'm not kidding. I just got that from research.
Nice. Well, I saw a couple of Wilburs in that video. That'll do, Paco.
It's because it's a pig.
So let me give you another hot take. Oh, an extensive, violent criminal record? Get out.
Get the hell out of here!
How about that? My gosh. Just talk about. By the way, let me just let's. Sometimes it's easy to be sort of removed from it.
Right.
Picture you're out with your family, okay, and maybe you're at a restaurant. I don't know. Maybe you're at a bowling alley or an arcade, wherever it is that you go, and someone has committed a serious crime, right? A violent crime. Because we have 44 examples of this, and the police are trying to arrest him. And there are people around, if you have kids, they shouldn't be watching right now. There are people around the cop screaming, "Fuck you! Fucking kill yourself!" and running at them. Is there any world in which you could picture them not being arrested? Comment below, right? Let's just be really clear about that. What happens if you see police officers trying to restrain someone who is resisting arrest? You usually give them space, right? You usually don't interfere. That's what we believed in this country for a long time, law and order. There's a system. There's a justice system. It'll go to court. We'll see if there will be charges, potentially a conviction. You don't run in and verbally assault or in some cases batter the officer. But they want you to think that these people are martyrs. You don't know which of the people who were being restrained, detained, were amongst the 44 extensively violent criminals who are still here for some reason. Think about that for a second. Let me break down that phrase. Of the 370 people arrested, at least 44 had extensive violent criminal records. Ostensibly, most of them, if not all, were illegal aliens. How does that happen? How does someone come to this country illegally, get caught committing a crime enough that they're actually charged, convicted, they have a violent criminal record, and they're still here? That's what we would think is a freebie, right? Oh, wait, you assaulted your neighbor. Turns out you're not here legally.
Bye.
Gone. It's not about anchor babies. It's not about dreamers. Anytime you have a Democrat in charge, you end up with these people. They want them to stay. There's no world in which logically someone who is here illegally gets to commit more crimes, which means they have gone through the legal process. It has been verified. They have no business being here, and they stay? And these people want to tell you that they're acting on behalf of you. So the Charlotte mayor, Vi Lyles, posted this after the rage wrapped. I'm sure you can guess what she looks like. She said, "It appears that the U.S. Border Patrol has ceased its operations in Charlotte. I'm relieved for our community and the residents, businesses, and all those who were targeted and impacted by this intrusion. As we move forward, it is essential that we come together, not as separate groups divided by recent events, but as one Charlotte community, including over 40 of which are illegal aliens continually committing violent crimes." Our strength has always come from our ability to support one another, including said repeat violent offenders here illegally, especially in challenging times, like having a crime committed against you by one of these people here illegally. I am calling on all members of our community, including illegal aliens who are serial violent offenders, to join in this effort. Let us stand together, regardless of criminal activity and legal status. Listen to one another, including violent felons, and recommit ourselves to the values of dignity, compassion, and unity that define our city. Charlotte is strongest when Charlotte stands as one, both law-abiding rapists and murderers alike.
Is it Asian lady?
I mean,
I was paraphrasing, just so you know, really, but let's just put it in context. Let me give you a few key facts here. There are a truckload of illegal aliens in Charlotte. Now, before we get to crimes, you're here illegally? Gone, get out.
Bye-bye.
And according to the most recent data that we have, there are at least 100,000 illegal aliens living in Mecklenburg County.
According to the latest data from the Migration Policy Institute, there are about 100,000 immigrants living in Mecklenburg County illegally. The top country of birth for them is Honduras, with a third of them coming from there. Mexico, El Salvador, and Guatemala round out the top four. Many of them have either been in the U.S. for 20 or more years or moved here in the last 5 years. When it comes to ages, this group is more evenly split. The largest age group is 35 to 44.
How do we know all of this about them and we can't get them out?
There are also 12,000 people who are under the age of 16.
And all of them by this data on their
they know everything, and they know stuff, and they didn't include stuff too.
Right.
If you notice, if you live in North Carolina, if you live in Charlotte area, Mecklenburg County, when they had that first graphic up and it said what was it?
The other
Hispanic?
quarter.
Yep.
It's like
What's the other quarter? Tell me, Charlotte.
Yeah.
Tell me what the other quarter is.
Right.
Have they called you about your extended car warranty?
Yes.
But I live in Charlotte.
Yeah. They're their list of ethnicity, age, and hobbies.
Yes. But we can't track them down. What did they fill out a survey for you?
14% do in fact not enjoy long walks on the beach.
Though they said they do on their dating profiles.
It says they fine with Netflix and chilling. By the way, 8.3% of the total population of Mecklenburg County, 8.3%
is illegals.
Are illegal aliens.
Jeez.
And here's the thing, too. Wow. Whenever you look at used car market, whenever you look at the housing market, people, and Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, they'll try and cut this off. They'll go, what dictators do, what autocrats do is try and other people and blame them for your problems. Yeah, but are they responsible for some of the problems? If someone happens to be brown and commits armed robbery, am I othering him because of his brownness, or do I have a problem with the armed robbery? So a lot of these problems, as far as unaffordability, a lot of these problems as far as housing shortages, a lot of these problems, especially during COVID, with the relief that was provided and not very verified, to be clear, a lot of this comes from people who are here illegally. It changes supply and demand, and it warps it even more when many of them don't pay taxes. I know you'll say they pay sales tax. So do Americans. We're talking about federal income tax. We're talking about actual taxes that Americans pay that these people don't, by and large. The number in Charlotte includes a massive amount of students. So the administration there claims almost 21,000 illegal alien students. There's some other data that would suggest it's 11,000. So let's split the difference. Call it 15,000. We'll never really know, because in 1982, the Supreme Court ruled that students at public schools can't be asked about immigration status. They effectively ruled that illegal aliens can attend public schools. So you can have a family that doesn't pay into that system, but uses that system, which, by the way, increases class size in relation to professors, right? It increases the need for resources that are not being provided by said families, who I would imagine we know are here illegally because they just gave you a pie chart. One teacher said that he was actually missing 75% of his class during the raids.
Class typically has 16 students in it. We had 4.
District-wide, there are 145,030 students enrolled in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. On Monday, 30,399 were absent, 28,136 unexcused. While CMS doesn't break down the numbers by ethnic origin, Gillespie, a multilingual teacher, did.
Children of parents from Angola, from Vietnam, but the students whose parents come from Latin American countries were the students we were missing.
Oh. So out of the 4, I'm interested in this. Out of the 4 students who showed up, some of them were Angolan and some of them were Vietnamese?
Yeah.
Were any of them black or white, American born?
Yeah, that's a good question. Also, it would seem that if they're from Angola or Vietnam, they definitely migrated here at some point. Why weren't they as concerned about the raids? Could it be because there's an ocean, which makes it harder to come here illegally? I guarantee you some Angolans and some people in Vietnam are browner than some of the people who were missing. Oh, that's right. Sorry, we're not allowed to ask these questions. No. Here's another key fact. And you'll hear the left make this argument now. And it's very similar. It's almost identical to the argument that was made by the Democrats to continue slavery. The economic one. Well, we can't free the slaves. That would upend our economy. We've become reliant on it. Well, who's gonna pick your cotton? Right? Well, hold on a second. We can't just deport. Businesses have become dependent on illegal aliens. As we have economically, we have to continue with a black market of human beings.
Well, normally, like on a Sunday, we would have like our 6 registers going at all time. 2 registers, maybe 3, but the sales as far as that has gone down. But not only the sales, it's just like our regular customers. Our regular customers, we don't wondering, make sure they're okay, or like our regular Sunday customers.
The market doesn't need
we
you.
We didn't see none of them yesterday, so.
None of the businesses produce money this week. Yeah. It's completely lost. We're talking 80% of everything, 80% of our money is just gone.
There's about 3 people working currently. It's just sad, man.
Probably should have asked for papers.
It's really sad. A lot of people don't realize how this affects the economy so much. I mean, who's gonna finish building this building if everyone that is capable of doing it is getting taken?
First off, I disagree with the premise because I worked in construction. A lot of white people work in construction. As a matter of fact, it's a good paying job that's available to many Americans. It's almost one that we should make exclusively available to Americans. Also, no timestamp there, because if you do that in Texas after 4 p.m., all the workers have gone to get their 34-ounce Tecate at Quick Trip. So that could be the reason. I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't care. Oh, you're here illegal. Your business relies on illegal aliens. They still have to get out.
See ya. Wouldn't want to be.
Wouldn't.
And here's another key fact. Speaking of the housing unaffordability. And by the way, that is an issue. It is an issue, and it's very daunting for a lot of young people. They do face a competition pool that a lot of other generations didn't. That doesn't mean that individuals can't make better decisions financially, but there's a little of column A, a little of column B. We're actually dealing with, well, there's a surplus of illegal aliens that make housing unaffordable. So let me give you an idea in this county alone. We'll use this as a microcosm. The prices have gone up 3.24% year over year in Mecklenburg County. So a lot of people say, well, there aren't enough houses being built. That's partially true. There are about 29,000 new properties brought to market. Anyone want to guess the number of illegal aliens who own homes in Charlotte? 27,000.
Jeez.
So that's effectively a wash. You've got 2,000 available to lawful Americans. You guys don't want to say it doesn't affect the housing market? Anyone want to say it? 29,000 houses available, 27,000 illegal aliens owning homes in Charlotte. What if 27,000 illegal aliens didn't own homes at all in Charlotte? You know, like if you're an illegal alien in Mexico or another country.
Yeah, what would it look like?
What would it look like?
Do you think that there'd be more available? Do you think the prices would be more reasonable? Do you think that banks will be more willing to lower interest rates?
Yeah, that's a good point. Let me ask you this. If you're in a county or you're in a state where there are only 2,000 new homes that are available and you're looking for a house, do you think the prices will be higher or lower than if there were 29,000 homes available? You've heard of buyer's market, seller's market? It's really this simple. If there are more buyers looking to get into a house than there are homes available, it's a seller's market. And that means they can charge you more. If there are actually more homes available than there are buyers, right? There's a surplus of homes. It's a buyer's market. It's that simple. In Charlotte, in Mecklenburg County, it is a seller's market. If you deported all illegal aliens, it would be a buyer's market.
And the sellers are not even citizens.
Right.
Right.
They're getting hosed for a house by somebody from Michoacan or whatever.
And this is the byproduct of Mecklenburg County being a sanctuary county.
Ah.
Yeah, it's described again from our favorite mayor, Vi Lyles.
How are they allowed to do that in that state? Like, can't they just, like, as a state go, yeah, no, that's not a thing.
Right.
You're not doing that.
You would think so. But no. And then they say it's unconstitutional to actually enforce federal law.
Oh, really?
If a mayor says, no, we're not going to.
Haven't we dealt with people who said, hey, we don't want to enforce federal laws at one point in this country's history? Haven't we figured that one out?
Mm-hmm.
See, this is the problem with...
it's almost seditious.
This is the problem with police forces. I'm a big fan of sheriff's departments because you elect a sheriff. And a police chief is appointed by a mayor or a city council or a combination of the two.
Right.
So they can... The police chief is subject to the mayor or the city council because their job depends on it. And the next person coming up, same thing.
Right.
Sheriff? Nah. Sheriff doesn't have to do that shit.
That's a very good point. And if you really piss him off, he can deputize people. He'd be like, you want to be saying you don't want to enforce immigration law? Deputized. Deputized. How about that?
Like a Oprah sheriff.
Yeah, you're deputized. And you're deputized. Smoke if you got him. So Mayor Vi Lyles wrote, Charlotte is committed to following the law and to protecting the rights of all people who call our city home, including serial violent offenders who are here illegally. I understand how unsettling it can be when the sense of security you have in your daily life while committing violent crimes here illegally may be shaken. I want to assure you, your concerns as a violent serial felon matter. Your safety matters to commit violent acts against others. Your rights matter as a serial violent felon. Charlotte's strength lies in our unity and mutual respect, including law-abiding, legal American citizens and illegal alien criminals alike. We are safer together. We are stronger together. Law-abiding or not. Now let's compare that. I'm just going to keep going with it. I can't. Just at least for today.
I think it matters.
Let's compare it to how she treated Irina Zarutska's murder.
Oh, same city.
Yeah, same city.
I forgot about that.
Same city, and of course, we haven't forgotten about this lady. Almost a model, a model migrant.
Yes.
Someone who came here and was working, 100%. Contributing, never harmed anybody. She wrote, this mayor, this is a tragic situation that sheds light on problems with society's safety nets related to mental health care and the systems that should be in place for all citizens or illegal aliens alike.
Right, that's right.
As we come to understand what happened and why, we must look at the entire situation and pay no mind to the man who said, I got that white girl, I got that white girl. While I do not know the specifics of the man's medical record,
nor do I give a crap.
What I have come to understand is that he has long struggled with mental health and appears to have suffered a crisis.
Yeah, exactly.
This was the unfortunate and tragic outcome.
She didn't once mention Zarutska.
No.
This man had suffered a crisis. Zarutska suffered an unfortunate side effect of said crisis.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's almost like there wouldn't have been a crisis had somebody not been stabbed. It would have just been some kind of guy talking to himself. I love how she focuses on this man and his condition and his mental well-being. And I have no idea, but man, he obviously suffered a crisis. I don't care.
You don't care.
I care zero parts about that. I care about a young migrant girl who came to this country the right way and was doing things the right way, Irina Zarutska, being killed on her way home. That's what I care about. Catch the guy, convict him, put a bullet in him. Let's move on to the next case.
Yeah, he was struggling. You know what could have really helped? Yeah, maybe some outside time.
Right.
Maybe some time on the pull-up bars in prison.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate outcome. Oh, that kind of absolves you of your responsibility, doesn't it? An unfortunate outcome, a serial offender who was let back out. How does that happen?
Yeah, no kidding. One who claimed himself from his lawyer that he was not fit to stand trial, and they said, we agree, we're going to hang on to this, you're free to go.
Right.
Now, the problem isn't magistrates who weren't elected and were appointed and haven't passed a bar. That's not the problem.
Right.
The problem is this unfortunate crisis that this 14-time violent offender was facing.
And isn't it crazy that they say we need these illegal aliens? They're the bedrock of our economy, but no word on people like Irina Zarutska, legal aliens paying taxes here being the bedrock of the economy. People actually coming because they want to be a part of the American experiment. Yeah, this is, I've told you this, the left wants to turn criminals, actual criminals, into a voting base, and they want to turn you, a law-abiding citizen, into a criminal. If you ask yourself, how can they never side with the American worker, the law-abiding American tax-paying citizen? It's very simple. You're of no value to them. You're already paying taxes. You're already not a threat. You're already somebody who they don't have to deal with. You're just someone who's working, trying to feed your family. Great, you're going to pay your taxes anyway. We're at no risk of you refusing to take part in the American way of life. No, we need to bring in other people, so we have to give them some freebies so we can get their votes. You are of no use. And this means if you're poor, if you're middle class, if you're wealthy. If you are a hard-working American tax-paying citizen, you are of no value to the left. They completely ignore you or take you for granted outside of election time and talk about unions or something like that. But it's important to pay attention between those 4 years. Keep the deportations going. And if the left says we need to come together, I will not find common ground based on a lie. If they say we need to come together, okay. At least every single one of these 40-something serial violent offenders who are illegal aliens should be deported immediately, right? And it's not enough for them to say, right. They haven't even done that yet. It's, okay, great. You know who they are because they're in your legal system. They've been convicted. Hand them over. Until the left hands over every single illegal alien who has committed a crime in their district, in their county, in their city, sanctuary city or not, until they physically hand them over, no common ground. How about that? We're not coming together, holding hands, singing, we are the world. You guys have to make at least one step our way. People say, oh, the parties have split. No. The right has gone left and the left has gone far left. How do you know? Because we're not allowed to deport illegal aliens who have been tried and convicted of violent crimes. Anyone like that, get out.
Get out of here, you gypsy vermin!
I don't know how many gypsies we have here, but the principle remains.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it better.
Yeah. All right. Time for Friday chat.
Chat.
Hit me, Noodles.
All right, first chat from Pedro the non-Mexican, Mexican 15. Question for the crew. Do you think the Dems/left will ever think about the long-term consequences of their actions and realize what goes around comes around?
No.
Great.
It is pretty straightforward. I do wonder, though, who Pedro, the not Mexican, has dirt on here at this organization, because we read a lot of his chats.
That's true.
He must have dirt on someone.
Yeah.
We need to get to the bottom.
Are you dating somebody in the control room?
It might be Gerald.
It might be Gerald.
It's not me that I know of.
Well, it seems like there's a backstory where it says Pedro because one would assume, but the non-Mexican.
You weren't here for that. You weren't here for it. I went through it. I exposed Pedro.
He's British.
Oh, you exposed yourself to Pedro. That's the dirt he has.
No, I exposed
First puff
Pedro.
is
There's
free.
a difference.
Remember, Gerald, I told you, not all dick pics are evil, but unsolicited is a bad idea.
Also, yours is weird looking.
Yeah, it is.
Didn't admonish me for anything.
It looks like it's been sitting on a hot stove.
Why does it look like a Z?
Yeah.
How did this happen?
Yeah, whenever I see Gerald's pecker, I go, the sign of Zorro?
Let's get this back to Pedro not being
Gerald,
Mexican.
Gerald, he makes the sign of the Z. That was the old Zorro. Someone bring up the old Zorro theme song. I think I'm pretty close. No, they don't.
Cursive Z too, so it's all weird.
Yeah, it is. It's really weird.
Back to that?
No, they don't. They just, it's funny. They always talk about be present, and there's truth to that. Put your phone down, make memories with your family.
Right.
But the left just lives in the moment as far as what can we get out of this. Now, there are people at the top who, of course, strategize moving forward. They're not going to realize the error of their ways. They're proactively making said errors because they don't view them as errors. You think it's a bug. They think it's a feature. Great. We keep these people, we fight the federal, hopefully we get to a point where we get an administration where we can create a whole new class of voters for more proof, see the change to the census rule. So no, they're not going to be changing. They're not. Next chat.
They send in the Zorro theme if you want it.
Oh, let me see.
This is Gerald's penis, by the way.
Yes.
There it is. It's electric.
Pretty girthy.
Let's to scale. There's Gerald having sex.
I think here it comes. There he goes. Okay. I haven't heard that since I was little. There you go. That's his wiener. All right, next chat.
That's great.
It's World War Gerald.
All right, next chat from Dos Oclacos. Question for the crew. Dems celebrated shooting at Trump and Charlie's assassination. Now they are telling military to defy orders. Is this now something beyond just politics?
No. And I by the way, you're coming from this. You're coming at this from an earnest place. No, this is by design. They want some kind of an insurrection. When they didn't get one, they just said there was an insurrection. They want to do that because they want to turn you, a law-abiding citizen, into a criminal, and they want criminals to become a new voter base. To the left, it is not about just politics. And for proof, look at Bernie Sanders. Look at Mamdani. He says that he's a Democrat socialist.
Yeah.
He cited people, I believe. I don't want to misspeak Mamdani with Marx. I'm not sure. I know that Bernie Sanders has said it's beautiful in theory. I know that people like Hassan Piker have been thrilled to receive Mao's Little Red Book. Well, look at what that means. You have to fundamentally alter society, and you have to do it through underhanded means. That's the only way to change it. That's the only way to break apart the capitalist system and to destroy the bourgeoisie, to forward the plight of the proletariat. This is not by accident. It's not happenstance. They want to turn you. They already see you as the enemy. They just want to be able to label you that legally. That's what they've wanted for a very long time. And I don't say that hyperbolically. I mean that. And I've seen it happen in a country where I spent a lot of time in Canada. When truckers protested peacefully, bank accounts frozen. Many of, some of whom were arrested. Think about that. They don't actually care about the First Amendment. They don't care about your rights. They want you to be legally declared the enemy. Next chat.
All right, here's a chat for Josh. Question for Josh from TNT Evans. My son scored an 83 on ASVABs. He comes from many military family members. What branch would be best? His uncle was a cavalry scout.
Well, that's a hard question. I don't know anything about this person because, I was Army and I'm always biased towards that. But the real answer is, what is best suited to you or to the person. Who is it, his son, you said? Or his nephew? Yeah, your son. All services are great for their own reasons. I chose the Army because that just made the most sense to me. I thought about the Marine Corps. I thought about the Army.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do, I didn't know this at the time, but I had the same sentiment as a friend of mine in the Army. His name was Harriman. He was a chaplain. Not a chap. Sorry, he wasn't a chaplain. He was a pastor.
Okay.
In his home state of Kentucky. And after 9/11, he joined the Army. And I asked him, I was like, I'm curious why you joined the Army and became an infantryman and not a chaplain if you're a man of God and that is your passion is being a pastor. And he said, well, I joined the Army to do Army things.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's why we're infantrymen.
Right.
Because when we pictured joining the Army, we pictured actually doing the fighting, going to battle and all that. So if that's something that he's interested in, he wants to be the person that they look to for actual combat, then there's lots of combat arms. And I would recommend something like the Army or the Marine Corps, or if they're multi-talented. 83 is not a bad score. You could, if they really are interested in doing some really cool stuff, some special operations stuff, then every service branch has combat operators that do those things, and they have different specialties. That's the SEALs. Are amazing what they do. Not a big fan, personally. They were mean to me. But
I hear they do that.
Yeah, they were rude to me.
Sorry.
Very rude. Cut me in the chow line.
Oh, geez.
Fuck you.
At least you didn't shoot them like the
no.
Afghans.
I actually I got a Joint Commendation Award from a Navy colonel. So I'm not too mean. No, I would say you got to look at their interests, what they're interested in outside of the military afterwards, because there's lots of different job specialties that you can do afterwards that are really specific to your job in the military. If you want to work on technology, the Navy or the Air Force might be a great spot for you because they have some of the best aerospace technology in the Air Force and some of the best naval technology in the Navy. If you want to pull triggers, the Marine Corps or the Army, and I recommend the Army because you do get more choice at the initial spot. In the Marine Corps, you can choose somebody in chat can probably correct me, but you can choose a field, I believe, based on your ASVAB score. So you choose a field, and then they kind of assign a job to you based on that field. In the Army, you get to actually pick your job if you have a high enough ASVAB, which I think 83 is high enough to be able to choose pretty much any job. There's some jobs that require over 90, maybe like Intel specialists or maybe some kind of technical jobs. But for most jobs, 83 is going to be able to let you choose. Yeah. So yeah, you get really a lot of choice in the Army. Marine Corps is also pulling triggers, but less choice.
Was it the ASVABs that you scored like a 94 on?
I scored a 94, out of 99.
Yeah, he won't tell you that. I'm
wow.
Yeah, no, Josh.
Nice job, Josh.
Yes. Yeah. So
and also, it also opens you up to special operations jobs. I know that Rangers is like a 90 minimum, or something like that, and I think SEALs have a minimum of like
a 60 minimum. No, just kidding.
No, SEALs have I think they have a 90.
I was going along with you, like being frustrated.
Well, he didn't.
You can always retake that test too, and so but it's all about you just got to talk it through and really look at all of them and don't just make a rash decision.
Kind of match your interests up with your aptitudes and
and think about the future. A lot of people go in thinking this is what they're going to do, and then they
drone warfare,
and then a few of your friends die, and you're like, well, maybe I don't want to do this forever.
Right,
that's true.
And you're like, well, what does an infantryman do outside?
Yeah. Like,
oh shit, I could I could pull security at the Coles.
Well, I saw a TikTok video, so I guess now I'm just going to defy orders.
Yeah,
that's gonna be my thing.
You can't tell me to do that.
That one guy, what's his? The guy we saw the follow-up video.
Chris Murphy.
No, not Chris Murphy. The one who was wearing the shirt that looked like a drafting sheet.
Crow.
Yeah, Crow.
Yeah,
Jason Crow.
Yeah.
He was an officer and was an Army Ranger for a little while. I'm not even sure if he was a Ranger, if he just has a Ranger tab. It's a very big distinction that most people don't understand. But when he was making that Sedition video, which is what I call it now.
Yeah.
When he was making a Sedition video, I was just like, dude, every Army Ranger is watching this, laughing at you and calling you a pussy.
Yeah, I know. I can imagine. I just can't imagine that anyone even remotely mad would respect him. But good advice. Let's grab another chat.
All right, let's see. Next chat from That Fine Fellow. Have leftists deluded themselves enough with their contradictory obsession with perceived harms, or is it all just manipulation to get votes?
I don't fully understand the question, but it's definitely all just a manipulation to get votes.
Sure.
Whatever the first part is, the second part is always this answer.
Yeah, it's not something that can be followed with logical consistency. And I mean that. It's truly not. The fact that you have seen actual Palestine flags next to rainbow flags, it tells you that these people have not thought this through, and it explains to you why they don't show up to defend their opinions, to defend their positions. And it also tells you why I don't count, generally speaking, I'm very, very hesitant to count someone amongst our ranks as a conservative if they follow the same tact. If they throw out and ask questions and accusations and they don't show up to defend it ever, well, we're not the party, the umbrella, the political wing that does that. We're the ones who've always sort of focused on debate, on arguing our position because we believe in them as stronger. And it doesn't mean, by the way, that you can't be caught flat-footed against someone who has ideas that are worse than you and they're a very, very skilled debater.
Yeah.
But as a general rule, historically, conservatives, and certainly all the way through the 20th century to today, we have been very much champing at the bit to have debates and conversations, and the left avoids them. You really only see them come out for a debate out of necessity, before the general elections. I mean, we saw one even remotely hostile, and by that I mean slight pushback interview with Kamala Harris, and it was Brett Baer, and she absolutely fell apart. You go back before that, Joe Biden didn't do any, right? He didn't even have campaign rallies. He did it from his basement. This is not how the right operates. It is how the left operates, and now there's a contingency on the right who act the same way, which is always concerning to me. It doesn't mean that you have to debate every single person with a random X in their profile. We all know what would be considered equal footing, and it's something that I look for. Next chat.
All right, next chat from Snow White Warrior. Question for the crew. Are the voting registrations of all the deportees being deleted? If not, won't they still likely be voting?
That's a good question.
It is a good question, yeah.
I think it depends on municipality and the states. We covered a couple of stories where they did purge some voting rolls.
They're just really bad at it, like it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's one of those things that's like, oh, this is too hard. I guess this is like one of the foundational things of our country, guys. Can we get this right, please?
Yeah, it's the same they always act like it's such an oppression or an intrusion into your rights. Like voter ID, I gotta have my wallet.
The license, like if I wanted to check out a library book. Ugh.
Come on.
Ridiculous. But re-register every single year. You should have to re-register.
I need to bring my ID to vote for the president. Okay, Pol Pot.
Yeah, but nobody's throwing a fit about TSA charging $18 for people not having a real ID.
Yeah, I know.
Get out of here, dude.
I know. It's just
what do you really care about?
I know.
Obviously.
I know. And then that was also like the libertarians thing. Like, I should never be able to ask for your papers. That's Nazi Germany. It's like, well, no, not.
What?
The whole thing, the context doesn't matter. It's why they were asking for papers. And we get it, search and seizures, but that's not really the same thing as being in a public.
David, okay? It's a little different now.
And the papers define different things.
Yes.
Yes.
It was a different paper. It wasn't, let me see your identification proving that you're a German citizen. It was.
Yeah.
Let me see your ethnic heritage.
Yes.
Let me explain to you the difference between Nazi Germany, the Gestapo, right? Because I've compared ICE to the Gestapo. Okay. So let's just picture this as a wall. Right. That's what I have. Okay.
Got it.
So Nazi Germany. Okay. The Gestapo were making sure that people were not allowed to leave ever. Right. Get back in your ghettos. In the United States, ICE is taking people here who shouldn't be here legally and sending them back to their country of origin, which, by the way, is just as equal as the United States because all cultures are equal.
Oh, I thought you were going to say killing them.
Right. No,
that's
no,
what
no.
I thought. I thought you were going to say killing them.
No.
Or maybe I thought maybe you'd come up with follow up with they're going to put them on a train to go work in a work camp and then get gas. They're not putting them to work.
No.
They're stopping them working.
As a matter of fact, they're actually paying for their flights. And if you don't so bother the Gestapo, ICE, if you actually just self-deport and go through the legal process, you actually get $1,000 cash.
Did the Gestapo do that? Did they give Jewish people $1,000? Or whatever it was called back then.
Right.
Shekels.
No, they primarily said get back into your human mass huddle or we'll kill you. Here, they're taking them and sending them back to their family, where they send their money.
Goodbye.
It's
and they speak the language.
Right.
And they're familiar with the culture.
Yeah. The primary difference is keeping people inside versus sending people back. Like they should leave. It's you're not allowed to leave, Gestapo, versus, hey, You need to leave and then be free where you came from. ICE.
Also, when they tried to escape, and not only did they not get $1,000, they usually got free lead if they tried to escape.
Yes, with the Gestapo.
So,
to be clear. So hopefully that clarifies it for you. Next chat.
All right, next chat from Lodge Black. Question for the crew. My family has lived in the San Luis Valley, Colorado for 3 generations, but their first language is Spanish. How would you respond to people who take issue with the speak English or get out?
Speak English or get out.
Speak English
That
or
one-
auto.
That question is a little confusing.
It is.
You said primary language. There's nothing wrong with using a different language other than English as your primary language in your
course.
house. If you speak English and you use English where English is necessary, like the grocery store or like, I don't know, the bank or when you vote.
Right, post office.
It doesn't have to be like perfect either. I mean,
Yeah,
what if
I have no
people
problem with
speak
somebody
broken
speaking
English?
another language in their home. I have no problem with somebody being proud of their heritage and
course.
teaching their kids, hey, you need to speak Spanish because we come
Yeah.
from Mexico and that's our heritage and you need to know how to speak to your grandma.
But add English.
But
right.
yeah,
And it's all. It's
if it's the only language.
The thing is that's odd is like this wouldn't be a question that would need to be answered if that's the context. It was assumed people who came here to this country had to learn a common language. And I've told you that I've spent some time going to an Orthodox church, and the priest there is very nice. They're Armenian. They do the service in both Armenian and English, so it's very, very long. It's actually quite a good example of people who come here who are very, very proud to be American and also preserve their culture as far as food, as far as traditions, but it melds with American culture. At no point would they feel wronged with the expectation of speaking English. So maybe you could clarify if you mean it's their primary language or they don't speak English. There's a big difference. Right. You come here, you need to speak English. That's it. You must speak it to the extent that it can be used as a communication tool in public life. If not, you shouldn't be here. Maybe you can clarify with a follow-up. Next chat.
All right, next chat from Mustang Guy 06. Question for Crowder and the crew. How can we abolish the IRS so us hardworking Americans don't give up so much hard-earned money?
Oh, I'll get right on that.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, we thought that we're going to get the FBI cleaned out.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You're never going to do it.
No, you're never going to abolish the IRS. When people, I agree. People say taxation is theft. To a large extent, I agree. Certainly, the way that taxation exists right now. But this idea, and there's nothing wrong with it. I understand in principle. If you don't allow it to cloud your judgment and make, the perfect is the enemy of the good. Where if you go, only 1.5 trillion in cuts, this is bullshit, rhino. I get it. But if you operate under the pretense that we're not going to abolish the IRS when we still have an FBI telling us that crooks had no digital footprint, there's quite a ways to go.
Also, nobody's put forward a very good plan except for the 999 plan that was put forward on like what
Herman
you would
Cain.
replace it with essentially because
there's a fair tax, there's a flat tax.
It has to be replaced with something.
Right.
People have
So
to pay taxes. We have to pay for things.
Right.
We have to be able to say, hey,
That's
we
what I
pay for
mean.
the taxes, so we have control over
A
it.
fair tax would be only a sales tax that would be higher. A
So
flat
it's not
tax
abolishing the IRS. It's actually just converting it or getting rid of that current system and putting in a new system. So that's why I get a little bit like abolish IRS. Okay, taxes are theft. Fine. You want to see what a world looks like without paying any taxes?
Right.
Okay, we can do that.
And we've talked about it, by the way.
Well, yeah, you want you want privatized military, privatized everything, and then you have no leverage,
no protection.
You have no leverage because you can't say as a taxpayer, as a what?
As a what? Right. Sorry.
Shut up! You don't pay nothing. We'll do whatever the hell we want.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So a little limited taxation is fine. I think the crazy taxation that we have right now, I understand.
I think the punitive tax for building wealth is ridiculous.
Yes, no kidding.
I think any tax that punishes people for building wealth, any tax that punishes people for investing,
Okay.
that's a problem.
I love Elon Musk getting crap for the taxes, and I was like, everybody forgets.
Right.
But most of his wealth is tied up in stock. And they're like, well, that's just how the rich do it. Okay, well then go put everything on the line and build a company. Also, he paid $11 billion in taxes personally in 1 year, the largest tax bill ever paid. I don't care what he did the 4 years prior. I don't care what he did the 10 years prior.
I actually think, and I know this would never happen, in principle, you should pay, if anything, pay a lower percentage the more you make. And we should have incentives to invest. We should have tax incentives and breaks to start businesses. There should be a break in taxes for every person you employ as opposed to punitive taxes for growth.
There you go.
That's my opinion. But I'll take a flat tax.
I believe in the flat tax, but I think that there's people more educated and smarter than me that might have a reason why it wouldn't work. But it's the most fair, I think.
Yeah.
In my simple mind.
Well, Hauser's law. I've talked about that. Look that up. It doesn't matter what you tax, whether the tax rate is 20% or 90%. You still end up generating the same amount of revenue.
It's within a very narrow band.
Yeah, it's like within 16 to 21%, and it pretty much averages around 18%.
Yeah.
So when our top marginal tax rates were 90%, right? Nobody actually paid that.
No, of course not.
Versus when they were at their lowest, it still ends up being a remarkably consistent amount of revenue. As far as income tax, something people didn't take into account is the tariffs generating a ton of revenue. That's not really something that you feel though as Americans. I understand that. That's something that would ideally be used to pay off some of our debt.
Yeah, no kidding.
Hopefully.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Stimmies.
I mean, the real reason that we're not really concerned with paying off our debt is a lot of it is held by China, and they have more debt per person than we do. So it's like at a certain point, it's just going to be a Mexican standoff.
Pretty much.
It's like, you owe me. No, you owe me. How many IOUs? I don't know how many IOUs. I was like, we want to just call it even?
Be a nice little war, and then we'll just wipe the balance sheet.
Yeah, exactly. Like, all right, guys, we lost the beige books. Next chat.
All right, next chat from Talent Loan from God. Question for Stephen. At what point do you think Americans will just say enough is enough and bring back tar and feathering style treatment of politicians?
You know what's funny is it sounds horrifying.
It does.
But when I heard that tar and it wasn't like...
Was it hot tar?
No, it wasn't boiling tar.
Well, that makes a difference.
It was more like Harry in Home Alone.
Yeah.
Except, replace the
Not
glue
the
with tar.
nail.
Now, I'm not saying that every now and then some boiling tar didn't get in there. Okay, I'm sure there were some people who had an axe to grind.
Stephen, did you boil this tar?
That tar was a little bit hotter than it needed to be. Like, I don't know the recipe for microwaving tar. I might have put it in too long. But I understand the principle of it.
My bad.
Tar and feathering. Like, this is the thing. Humiliation worked to some degree, right? Yeah. But that only works if you have a culture that values honor, because the idea was that it was dishonoring. I mean, you know what? Whipping post, that was primarily used for men who were found to have been beating their wives. Also, by the way, if you were found to have been beaten by your wife, you were paraded through town and embarrassed.
That's true.
Because it was like,
by your wife beating you.
It was like, you don't have control over your woman. But it's like, hey, if you're beating your wife, we don't respect men who beat the vulnerable. So, whipping post comes from that too. We used that. Think about stocks, right? Public execution is obviously much more severe, but tar and feathering is a way that, hey, it looks like a giant chicken.
You just described three things that already that I see every pride parade. People in handcuffs, people in feathers and tar and feathers. Yeah. What was the other one? Whipping post.
Yeah, whipping post. Yeah, well, that's pretty much part and parcel.
Just sounds like a good time for them.
You'd be hard pressed to find a gay pride parade that doesn't have a whipping post.
Yeah, I know.
It's true.
Or some feathers.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have a float looking like where they hang the goat in Jurassic Park for the T-Rex. You're like, I guess the gay escaped.
Oh no, don't eat me.
Yeah. And you just see the GHB going. Final chat.
You just spilled.
Oh, sorry, two chats.
All right. Well, we have a quick follow-up from Lodge Black. I'll just give you that. All my family from my grandparents on learned English. My aunt is sympathetic because they grew up very poor. Josh, thank you for your service. So it sounds like they do at least know English.
They do speak English?
Fine.
Yeah, I don't have any problem.
That's what's important. You got to be able to communicate with the people in this country. You got to be able to not be a burden.
Right.
I always go, how do you make it better?
Right.
Let's not talk about how you make things worse. How do you make it better? How do you not speak English? Speaking English, how does that make it better for anybody else around you?
Right.
You can't give me a reason.
No, it's a very good point. And by the way, that's how we enter into all relationships. And at some point in time, people thought that carrying your own weight meant that it wasn't love, like it's transactional. No, once you're in let's just use an example, like relationships. Once you're in a relationship, of course, it's not entirely transactional. Of course, you're there to support each other, right? That's why we say for richer or poorer, better or worse. And if you marry somebody who is the breadwinner and they get into a car accident and they're now disabled, like, of course, you're not going to leave them because they're not able to provide that transaction. But nobody enters into a relationship, friendship, intimate relationship, or a relationship between nations unless that relationship makes both parties better. That's the primary criteria in entering a relationship. You don't go, hey, if I marry this woman, I'm going to be worse off? Or if I marry this man, I'm going to be worse off. It's why women don't marry deadbeats. And it's why men typically don't want to marry caustic women. The same thing, you don't go, hey, hold on a second, let's start a relationship with a country who brings nothing to the table, will only be a net drain. That's not a thing. And so that's how we have to start these relationships. And there's nothing wrong about that. Then once you're in a relationship, that's where loyalty obviously exists. But loyalty exists after you get through the interview process. Put it that way. When people say, like, hey, what happened to loyalty? It's like, well, I'm not your friend. We haven't decided to be friends. It would be like some woman you went on one date with, or let's say 3 dates with. I mean, where's your loyalty because you answered a phone call from someone else who was nicer? So what do you mean? We didn't enter into a relationship. We had coffee. Hey, where's your loyalty to me? It's like, well, you're not my friend. I'm being loyal to my actual friend. Like, I play racquetball with you once a month. This guy's been my best friend since I was 12 years old. So the left will try and warp loyalty. And they'll try and warp what a relationship is. They'll tell women that, there should be no expectations of you. Otherwise, it's transactional. They'll tell you that you're supposed to be loyal to all citizens, to all members of the community in Charlotte, even though some literally aren't citizens of this country. They haven't actually sworn any allegiance to it.
And they're not even loyal enough to you to learn your freaking language.
Right.
When they come asking for something from you.
Right. Yeah. And it's the same way
loyalty.
When we bring in immigrants, we are engaging in a relationship, contractual. It's like, okay, we are allowing you into our community. You are now in a relationship with the United States and its citizens. Okay, so the deciding factor is, will this relationship make us better off than if we were not in this relationship? And that's another example of the difference beyond just pre-welfare state, post-welfare state. With immigrants who are coming here, in the early part of the 20th century, that's often what you think, we were going, hey, will we be better off? Sure, some of them are poor. Some of them may not be the brightest right now, but we have a country that's very sparsely populated. We need people. And as long as they come here under the conditions that they need to work, okay, that will be a net gain. All right, that's always been the criteria. What do you bring to the table? And only then do you procure loyalty, the constitutional rights of an American citizen.
The Constitution is a form of loyalty.
Right. That's exactly right.
It's our founding fathers' loyalty to its citizens.
It's a form of loyalty to citizens who also pledge allegiance to said relationship, the flag. Okay, great. You're under our umbrella. Okay, you're loyal. We are loyal. There can be no loyalty if it's one way. It's not a thing. Final chat.
All right, final chat from Miso Muggy.
Miso Muggy.
How do you talk to a fiance who avoids politics because she thinks both sides are bad and who tends to shut down and get defensive when I share my right-leaning views? Josh, thank you for your service.
Thank you, mean your former fiance.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
that's a tough one in life advice. We'd probably end up pretty close to that point if that's a real sticking point that's not going to go away.
No, she might feel uncomfortable. I'm assuming it's she. He
shuts down when he talks about conservative leanings.
Maybe she didn't say argued. Said shut down. I think maybe she might feel unqualified for the conversation and uncomfortable.
Maybe.
I know people like that. They don't want to talk politics at all, and they'll be the best friend to you. They might disagree with you, but they can't articulate their opinions. They don't necessarily know their opinions. They don't know all the information.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like she hates your right-leaning views. It's just maybe she's uncomfortable being talked at about something she doesn't understand.
Well,
what's up?
She adds the shuts down and gets defensive.
It gets defensive. So I agree with you. I would agree with you if you were talking about a relationship between two men, like a friendship, because I think men are better at separating, like, okay, we're never going to agree on this. Like me and Gerald in Transformers 4.
The guy can't shut up about it.
True. Yeah, I know. It's all the time.
All based on a lie.
It was better with Shia. We get it.
Yeah, okay, fine. He's a priest now or something, or a cleric.
There's a kernel of truth.
But in a relationship, like a relationship that is going to be leading to marriage, a huge component of that, I would imagine, as a man, is support. And so if this is something you're obviously passionate about, and this is part of the very fiber of your being, and she takes no interest or gets defensive, it would be one thing if you got into a relationship. And this is why I say I don't have all the variables here. If you got into a relationship and you weren't engaged yet, and she didn't really take an interest in politics, and she said both sides are bad, and then you spoke about it, and she said, well, okay, maybe that'll give me something to think about. right? Because she hadn't thought about it. That happens all the time. Like, you introduce a woman to new movies or new foods, and you find out, like, oh, wow, okay, you know what? I like this thing that you brought to the table, and I'm glad you introduced me to this. But she knows it's very important to you, and it's never not going to be important to you. And if she gets quiet and or defensive, that, to me, is partially a signal that she is unwilling to support you in something that, if you believe is important to you, will become a friction point.
Yeah.
If it didn't matter to you, if it wasn't something that was foundational to you, then okay, fine. But she is making a judgment, meaning put yourself in her shoes. This is just my opinion. She's going, okay, I want to be with this man for the rest of my life. That's what marriage is. Okay. What does that mean? Well, you know what your role is, your duty as a man, and thinking from her perspective, my duty is to create peace, love, support for him, right, as a complementary couple. Okay? What are the things he needs support in? I would imagine the things that get you most impassioned, your foundational views, which are probably going to dictate some of your actions, right? You'll probably be politically active. It'll probably include a lot of the content, news that you consume. And she's going, no, I don't care about it, so I'm not going to take part. You've now cut out a big chunk of your life that you can't share. She's making the judgment that I'm not willing to either learn about it enough to understand why you are passionate about it or care about it enough. But if it really, really matters to you, and I would say this, it's something that's pretty important. It's not like if it really matters to you and it's pickleball and she goes, her support is go play pickleball, right? She doesn't need to take part in that. But if this really, really matters to you, and it is something that is kind of consequential, and she has decided that she won't make it matter to her, the reason that she has decided she won't make it matter to her, I think could be a serious friction point. And I think you should ask her about it. If this is important to you, again, assuming that, I would bring it up with her and say, hey, look, this is something that you obviously see I'm really passionate about, and matters to me a lot. And I would imagine if you're watching right now on Rumble Premium, you're probably pretty educated on it. And you probably could help teach her about it.
Yeah.
Right? Tell her that and say, so why don't you take an interest? Or why do you go quiet? What is it about this that you don't want to take part in? And I would also put the ball in her court. What do you believe and why? And are you at least willing to engage in reasoning your position as to what you believe and why, and us discussing it? Because if she's not going to discuss it, if she falls silent and gets defensive, that's a huge chunk of your life that you now have to just cut out, and you only share with other people, not your wife. And that's never a good place, in my opinion, if it's something that is foundational to you. Were you about to say there's something, a clarifying thing, Noodles?
No. We're just watching the chat to see if they were adding anything else. Nope.
I would say not to be combative either.
No.
You love this woman. And, because if she's getting defensive, maybe it's maybe she's misconstruing how you're coming off.
Yeah. You could be like, beating her over the head with a Bible kind of thing. So
or Quran,
the Constitution. No, I do think you have to have, and the reason I said it sounds like your former fiance is like, I think we have to take this more seriously than we do a lot of times. People think like, oh, well, it's just a political difference. It's like, well, do you have an economic difference? Like, do you disagree on economic policy? Fine, you can deal with that. No big deal. Like, you think it should be done this way. I think it should be done this way. Whatever. How do you feel about transing kids? How do you feel about abortion? How do you feel about immigration? How do you feel about public education and how kids, potentially yours in the future, should be educated? Who has the right to be able to come into your home and take your kids from you, if anybody? There are a lot of things that really do matter that are going to be sticking issues that you need to talk about now. And you may find that those issues are issues of agreement. And thank God, because you're engaged. But if you don't sit down and say, hey, this is a really important conversation for me. Am I coming about this the wrong way? Like, am I approaching this conversation the wrong way? Do we just disagree on some fundamental issues? If they are truly big fundamental issues, not like I like Republicans more than I like Democrats or vice versa, then you have to talk about them. And I don't think you get equally yoked with somebody who completely disagrees on major decisions. Yeah. Not every one of these political things is major, but a lot of them are.
And also, I will say this too. Again, it is different between male and female, because there are guys I've known who go, I don't pay attention to politics. It seems like it's all a rigged game. I pay my taxes, but I want people to leave me alone. I want us to be safe, and I want, as long as people aren't hurting anyone else, then it's none of my business. A lot of guys, that'll be the default position if they're apolitical, right? Mm-hmm. A woman who says she's apolitical, the default position is feminism because she's been bombarded with it from birth to today. It's very, very different. A woman who says, I don't know, I think both sides are bad, then you get into the social issues and the cultural issues, and if you had to bet your life, absolutely bet your life that she leans left sociologically with feminism. That's the important thing. Women think they don't take an interest, but the message has constantly been we're not just talking about women's rights, but you are perfect, patriarchy, male privilege, right? Boss babe. There have not been many positive messages out there that have been targeted to women in these last generations. It's just not a thing. Now, I would say there have been a lot of negative messages, obviously targeted towards men. Men have a different accountability structure where if a man, for example, is conservative, if he is a Christian, that enclave will protect him or they will hold him accountable, and that's more powerful than the message coming from Hollywood or the media. We don't see that as much with women. That's why you see more women in the Christian church voting Democrat than male atheists. These are statistical realities. The default position of an apolitical woman is going to be further to the left than the default position of a man. And I would take that into account and ask her about those issues, because you don't want to be blindsided by those once you get to the point of having children and deciding how to raise them.
Yeah.
Have these conversations, and you know what? If there's some progress, please do follow up. I'd be curious to see where they lead. I didn't realize we went late here for a Friday show. We're going to see you guys on Monday, and then it's we do Monday, Tuesday, and then it's Thanksgiving.
There you go.
All right, next week.
Illegals are all gone from Carolina. You can get to work on time, check out at the store without a line. We've gotta put ice on overtime to make these changes countrywide. They're all gone from Carolina, it's about time.
Subject for today,